Hey there, welcome back everyone to the Netties Gold Series Hearthstone quarterfinals. This is game 3 between Roji and iLive. Warlock Mirror matchup here, so we're gonna see how this one is going. Flame Imp for first play for iLive. So Roji seems like he is going to coin for that Direwolf Alpha, so that might force a play out from iLive because it will force that Flame Imp to run into that Direwolf Alpha. Of course, iLive could just ignore that and go for the damage onto Roji and let him do the damage instead. It's kind of a game of chicken here. Who will attack the other minion first? But with 2 mana, iLive could, of course, just tap as well. As pretty much any and every card in your hand can be played except for that Defender of Argus at this point. But I'm not too sure what would be the best choice for her at this point. So it is going to be a Leper Gnome, and iLive going to go ahead and kill that Direwolf Alpha. Doesn't want to take any more damage from Roji's minions, or doesn't want to see Roji's minions getting buffed up next turn at the very least. And now Roji has a Leper Gnome on his hand, and that's a guarantee for a certain amount of damage, unless it gets silenced, which Roji doesn't have in his hand. He can respond with his own Flame Imp, but of course, only thing that would happen is that is going to be silent, or that is going to be run into. Flame Imp and the Undertaker are going to be played, so iLive at this point has to make a choice whether she wants to kill the Flame Imp or the Undertaker with the Leper Gnome. So Haunted Creeper being played by iLive, and now it's just a choice between the Undertaker or the Flame Imp. I'll probably go for the Flame Imp, hoping that Roji wouldn't have any Death Rattle minions, because if you go for the Flame Imp and the Undertaker doesn't get buffed next turn, you can take it out with the Spectral Spider, or with the Haunted Creeper rather. It seems like iLive is just do just that. Roji now sitting at 25 health, draws into a Sea Giant. So I'm not too sure about a Knife Juggler play. It does leave it open to being destroyed rather quickly. Direwolf Alpha probably helping out in that one, as iLive can just play the Direwolf Alpha and just attack with the Haunted Creeper into the Knife Juggler. Abusive Sergeant actually coming out as well, just to get some minions out on the field, as the attack buff is a little bit wasted there. Now Roji, who has drawn into a Nerubian Egg, has the potential to buff up that Undertaker. Of course, Implosion also being a card that he can play, and has a 75% chance to kill it. Does manage to kill it. 2 Imps joining his side. Another Direwolf Alpha being drawn by iLive, but going to go for the Defender of Argus play, and that means that all the minions on iLive's side are strong enough to take out the ones on Roji's side without any repercussions, or without dying at the very least. Do take a little bit of damage. Defender of Argus also being available for Roji, but doesn't have the mana to play both the Defender of Argus and a Nerubian Egg, which I would assume would be the optimal play for him. And now Roji has to make choices here. I would assume that he's definitely gonna tap though to draw a card. So taps, gets a Nerubian Egg, and plays the one he had in his hand already. Soulfire! Oh, haven't seen that card in a long time, especially now that it has been changed. So Soulfire used to be used to have no mana cost. Now it does cost 1 mana. A lot of players preferring the Dark Bomb now over the Soulfire, but it seems like IF is going for a little bit of an old school style here, still playing that Soulfire. Of course, it is a little bit more damage, but I love considering her options here. At the very least, Ruoji has that Nerubian egg, and with that Direwolf Alpha, it's gonna get rid of that one as well and spawn that 4/4 Nerubian. Time is eventually running out. Taps and draws another Soulfire and smile on her face. I'm not too sure if she's actually that happy about it. And Isla's just going to go full out on the aggressive here. 17 health remaining. And I'm actually wondering here. So at this point, Ruoji kind of has to play the Voidwalker or the Defender of Argus, because Iliv essentially has 12 damage in hand and 8 on the field, which would total 20. It would all depend which card she discards with the Soulfire, of course. Second Nerubian Egg being played, and Defender of Argus now coming out as well. Nerubian Egg will fall and spawn that 4/4 Nerubian. And Iliv can take a risk here now, because let's take a quick look at how much damage she has. She has 12 in hand, essentially, and that plus the 2 of the Direwolf Alpha on the field, that would be 14. So she doesn't have lethal at this point, but Abusive Sergeant might make a small difference in that one. I'm quickly doing the math here, because Soulfire would be a total of 8, and Power of Overwhelming would also be 4, so that's 12. Direwolf Alpha would be 14. Abusive Sergeant would be 16. So Iliv doesn't have lethal this turn in any way or shape. I think that the best way, like, if Ruoji would be sitting at 16 health, she could have played double Soulfire and hoped that she would have discarded the Undertaker, but it seems like she is going to go for the aggressive play here. Going to buff up that Direwolf Alpha and Power Overwhelm it. 8 damage landing onto that one, and keeps the double Soulfires in hand, knowing that she could do a whole bunch with those next turn, but it all depends on the card she discards with the Soulfire, and if Ruoji is able to hold his own with the board here. Has a Voidwalker to set up his defenses here, so pretty much forced to play that one. Is he going to tap? If he draws a second Defender of Argus, then that will be extremely helpful for him. Acidic Swamp Ooze going to be played as well. No weapons for Iliv though. And this seems like this is a do or die situation for both players. If Iliv doesn't manage to make game this turn, then Ruoji will sure as hell do it himself. And Iliv is looking at the board saying, how can I win this now? Iliv drawing into a Sea Giant. Can't play that one, but I'm not too sure. So if Iliv has a Dark Bomb in her deck, she might want to tap for it. She might want to look for it. She might have to believe in the heart of the cards if she plays that Dark Bomb or any kind of card that will do 1 damage to Ruoji. Tapping her only option. Defender of Argus coming out, but that is not enough. That is not enough. And looking at the numbers on Ruoji's field, looks like he has enough to finish off Iliv, but Iliv might just play those Soulfires just to destroy the minions on Ruoji's side, but even if she destroyed that Nerubian and best case acidic swamp ooze, then Ruoji would still have 19 damage on the board. I'm kind of wondering if she's actually going to do it. First Soulfire being expended, and she discards the second Soulfire and concedes as soon as she sees that Ruoji winning the second game, making the score 2-1. So welcome back everyone to Game 4 of the NetEase Gold Series Hearthstone quarterfinals. Excuse me. This is Game 4 between Ruoji and iLive. Ruoji winning 2 games in a row with his Warlock. So let's see if this is going to be his third win in a row and will be the win that is needed to bring himself towards the semifinals. And just to give you a quick update on the prizes here, the winner of this entire tournament will be taking home 170,000 Chinese yuan, which is $27,000 approximately. Of course, if he makes it to the quarterfinals and loses there, he will be taking home 20,000 yuan, which is about $3,000. Same counts for iLive if she makes it to the quarterfinals, but it all depends on this match who will win this one. So iLive going for Paladin, her last class, so needs to win the next 2 games with that one. Abusive Sergeant going to be dropped, and another knife landing into iLive, who's now sitting at 23 health right here. Coin is available, but is she going to coin for the Pilot the Shredder? Yes, she is. Now back to Ruoji. Who draws into an Implosion and is going to play it. How much imps will he get? Gets 2 from it. 1 dagger landing in the Pilot the Shredder, 1 landing into iLive. And iLive getting a 1 free minion from that one. Ruoji doing as much damage as he can, but iLive now has enough mana for the Consecrate, and that would clear out the entire field. Eagerly plays that one, and now Ruoji is behind on cards, has a Nerubian Egg in his hand though, and a Defender of Argus, but can't play both, and a second Nerubian Egg now in his hand. 2 Spectral Spiders being spawned because he still had that Haunted Creeper on the field after that Consecrated, while the Consecrated landed. So Ruoji gonna go ahead and play double Nerubian Egg here, leaving iLive at 17 health now. Quartermaster being drawn by her, and wouldn't be too surprised to see her play that Sludge Belcher at this point. And just as a quick update here, I'm being told that Ruoji is actually teamless right here, so he has a single player on his own made it through the qualifiers and made it to the stage. Meanwhile, Ilov is part of Team Daoyu TV. I'm not too sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. My Chinese isn't the best, so I think that might be pronounced Daoyu TV. And surely she wants to bring home the victory for her team, especially after Xian, her teammate, made it to the semifinals as well. What a final that would be. So it's going to play the Loa Feb instead of the Sludge Belcher, not being too afraid of anything buffing those Nerubian eggs there. Now back to Ruoji, who is drawn into a Void Walker and draws into his own Loa Feb. Defender of Argus being played, buffing up those Nerubian eggs, and now Ilov has a little bit of a problem here, as Consecration is not enough to get rid of the field, and if she takes out those Nerubian eggs, they will spawn 4/4 Nerubians, but one of them gets denied by the Iron Beak Owl, turning into a regular 0/2 Nerubian egg with no effect. So what Ilov can do right now is she can attack with the Loa Feb, make sure that the Nerubian spawns, and then equip True Silver Champion and attack into Nerubian. She would suffer a little bit of damage from that one, but it would be better than nothing, I would presume, as she has to get rid of that board regardless. True Silver Champion is equipped. Will take 2 damage in total from that one, leaving her at 11. Next card being drawn by Ruoji. Take a quick look what it is. Hasn't loaded yet. Is an Undertaker. So 4 damage now on Ruoji's board. 11 health remaining for Ilov, but Ilov does have the Consecrate for next turn to get rid of that one. Voidwalker and the Undertaker being played, as well as the Loa Feb, so filling up the field quite nicely. And now Ilov only sitting at 8 hit points, draws herself a Dr. Boom and counts how much damage she can take and how much damage she can deal, as that Consecration can't be played for this turn, so pretty much her only option is the Sludge Belcher, I feel. So healing 1 HP off of that one. And Loa Feb attacking into the other Loa Feb. And the Sludge Belcher now coming across. And now Ruoji in a little bit of a sticky situation, as he has to find a way to get over that Loa Feb before Ilov draws any healing cards like Blessing of Kings or anything like that. Flame Imp being drawn by him. It's not going to be too helpful. So what Ruoji can do right now is he can taunt up his Spectral Spider and his Defender of Argus with the Defender of Argus in his hand, and hope that he can draw Death Rattle minions to get that Undertaker going for the next couple of turns. I'm not sure if that's actually what he's planning to do, but his #1 priority is get that Sludge Belcher off the field so he can kick Ilov's health to 0. So it's going to do just that, little Sludge being the only card that remains. Flame Imp now joining on the field. But Ilov doesn't seem to care too much, as she still has that Consecration in her hand. And Ilov has 8 mana. Has to play to Consecrate at this point to sweep out the field, and Ruoji not looking too happy about that. Still remains with 1 lonely minion on the field, and I can imagine Ilov now attacking with the Slime to get rid of that. And next turn is definitely going to be a Quartermaster play coming out from Ilov. Iron Beak Owl and a Harvest Golem being pulled by him, and that's not going to be too helpful. And Iliv drawing into an antique heal bot. But she trusts that Ruoji doesn't have enough to kill him. And uses those silver hand recruits to attack into Ruoji's minions. Can't attack with the third one, of course. And now a Doomguard being pulled by Ruoji. And he's sitting at 11 health, so silences the one. And then the Doomguard being busted on and goes for the direct attack. And he has to hope that Iliv doesn't have anything, but she in fact does. The second quartermaster for the extra training. And that is enough damage. And Iliv forcing game 5 in this best of 5. So, welcome back to Game 5 of the NetEase Gold Series Hearthstone quarterfinals between Ruoji and Iliv. Seems like both players don't have the best of hands here. But Ruoji is going to start off with a Knife Juggler. And Iliv maybe responding with just exactly the same. But now Ruoji can't play that muster for battle. And if those daggers land into that Knife Juggler, then he'll be in a great position here. First minion summoning one dagger into Iliv, second dagger into the Knife Juggler, third dagger landing into Iliv, but one dagger is enough as the Light's Justice will be enough to take care of that one. Iliv now being dropped to 25. And Iliv equipping that weapon despite not having any minions on the field. So knows the situation is a little bit dire here. And Ruoji just gonna go on the aggressive here. Knows he can do so, but he might fear a Consecrate for the next turn. And Iliv not drawing into that one. Draws into a shield and mini bot. And Iliv thinking about what her next move is going to be. Essentially, she has 5 mana, but the question is she going to coin for the Sludge Belcher? Or is she going to do something else? Is going to coin for the Sludge Belcher. Takes a little bit of damage as well. Now back to Ruoji. Doesn't have enough mana to play that Black Knight, though. He's missing 1 mana. And he has Harrison Jones in his hand, so he can play that to draw some extra cards there, destroying the weapon of Iliv. Of course, it only has 1 durability, so he would only draw 1 card from it, but it would leave him with quite a strong minion on the field as well. Harrison Jones is going to be played, spending all his mana. Which card is he going to draw? Draws an Equality from that, so has the Equality Consecration combo down. Now back to Iliv, who is sitting on 5 mana herself. She can respond with her own Harrison Jones to draw 2 cards. I would leave her with the hand advantage. But then next turn, Ruji is definitely going to come out with a Black Knight play. So I still feel that Harrison Jones would probably be the best play for iLive at this point, just to get those cards drawing to make sure she has response for next turn. But it's gonna go with a muster for battle instead, and the shielded mini bot. So a lot of minions on iLive's field, and again, Ruji just missing 1 mana for the optimal play of that turn. Wouldn't be too surprised if he just attacks that Sludge Belcher with Harrison Jones, or at least the Slime at least behind after playing the Black Knight. And I feel that Ruji would be doing wise to just expend as much of the durability of his weapon as possible before iLive plays that Harrison Jones. I'm actually going to save the Black Knight there and going to play to Consecrate. I'm not too sure why he wouldn't attack that shielded mini-bot first to get rid of the Divine Shield though. Because this seems like a little bit of a more inefficient way to do it. Because I feel that if he just attacked that shielded mini-bot first with his Silver Hand Recruit and then consecrated, he would have saved durability on his weapon, but maybe he just wanted to expend that on purpose. Harrison Jones now falling, and only 9 health remaining on iLive. And I feel that if Ruji just equips his True Silver Champion and attacks, that would be more than enough. Because that would be 5 damage this turn, including the Silver Hand Recruit. That would leave iLive at 4, and iLive would have to draw a card that heals her, like a True Silver Champion, to keep on living, or a Guardian of Kings. And it seems like Ruji is going to do just that, and reinforces as well. And iLive now sitting at 4 HP. Which card is she going to draw? Muster for battle it is. Play to Harrison Jones. Maybe she's draws something useful out of it, and it is going to be an Ironbeak Element, but that's not going to be enough. Golf claps coming from the audience as iLive doesn't look too happy about that. And all Ruji needs to do is play to Consecrate and equip his weapon there. And with the Coghammer, Ruji will defeat iLive in this series, and we'll be moving on towards the semifinals. So congratulations to Ruji. He will be moving on towards the semifinals and still has a shot at that massive cash prize of 170,000 Chinese yuan. But I think that has been it for me as far as Hearthstone goes. We will be broadcasting one more game after this one, which is going to be the Heroes of the Storm Invitation, which is going to be pretty shortly. I'm not too sure if that's going to be broadcasted here. I'll be checking that one for you in just a bit. But that has been it for the casting for myself. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you didn't, that's fine too. I've still enjoyed each and every single one of your company here. If you enjoyed what I do here, you can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/spellruler, or facebook.com/spellruler, or twitch.com/spellruler. But that has been it for me. I will still be hanging out in the chat to talk with all you lovely people, no matter what you think of me, and see you all next time.